welcome. You're watching Newsx with me, Devika Chopra. Viewers, as India debates its own reservation for women in parliament, we bring to you 7 examples of countries from across the world who have achieved gender parity. Yes, you heard that right. They've achieved gender parity in their lower house of parliament, and the leader in this is Rwanda, with 63.8% women occupying parliament in Rwanda as we speak. Yes, it's the global leader. Remember, women led the revolution in Rwanda for national reconstruction after 1994. This was then codified into a 30% quota for women, but through measures over decades, Rwanda has actually doubled that quota and achieved this figure of 63.8% women in parliament. Our next example, very interesting, Cuba has 57.2% women in parliament today. This was achieved through a state centralized process where mass organizations ensured that women come to dominate politics in Cuba. Our third example of gender parity in the world is Nicaragua, which has 55% women in parliament today. It's a very interesting case study. So how they've managed to achieve this is through a zebra list system. Yes, you heard that right. That sounds bizarre, right? But what they do is they have mandated political parties to ensure that their party lists, when the names come out, it is one man, one woman, one man, one woman, so on and so forth from top to bottom. And that's how Nicaragua has achieved this figure of 55% women in their lower house today. Then our fourth example is Andorra. It has 50% women in the General Council. This is a rare case of parity that has been achieved through social consensus and through, of course, voluntary party rules rather than any sort of hard law. So this is actually a case study if someone wants to really go into how society can force politics to change. So they've managed to achieve this figure without any hard laws. Our next example is Mexico, which has achieved 50.4% women representation in the Chamber of Deputies. This is one of the fastest modern transformations that has taken place because in 2019, Mexico passed a law that literally was called parity in everything. So they expected women to be represented across governmental institutions, 50% reservation for women across governmental institutions, and that's how they've achieved this figure. Our next example is Bolivia, which has also achieved a similar figure of 50.8% women representation. This is the success of legislative quotas. Since 2025, we've now been told that women hold the majority in the lower house and a staggering 58% in the Senate as well. So Bolivia is one of the countries that has achieved this figure in more than one House of Parliament. Our next, last but hopefully not the least, because India will soon be on this list as well, is the UAE, which is not a democratic system, yes. However, this is a top-down achievement. They've achieved 50% representation of women in their legislative bodies of the country, and this was done through a 2018 presidential decree. So we've seen in certain countries like Mexico, like the UAE, where within a span of 7 to 8 years, there's been a complete transformation of their governance bodies. And like I said, viewers, hopefully India will very soon be on this list as well. Thank you for watching.